There's a real-life Game of Thrones taking place in the Biden family, and it's exposing the seedy underbelly of America's first family like never before. It's gut-wrenching to watch. In the middle of it all, a little girl who, through no fault of her own, is now such a threat to Biden Incorporated that she has been callously discarded by the President of the United States. This is not a commentary on the merits of London Roberts' claims for more child support. It would seem to me that $20,000 per month for one kid in Arkansas is more than adequate to provide for a 4-year-old. This is about the moral question and how it reflects on a president fond of quoting scripture and the lengths the Bidens will go to cover up how they made their money. Our presidents are not saints, folks, and we're generally okay with that, because we often see ourselves in them, even among their flaws. What we expect, however, is that they will set an example for the nation by attempting to rise above their shortcomings to be an exemplar of courage and leadership. The brutal and callous denial of Navy Jones Roberts has laid bare Joe Biden's moral, spiritual, and ethical weakness to such a degree it compromises his ability to lead. If the president can do this to a child, to his own flesh and blood, what else would he be willing to do to protect himself and advance his agenda? You know, weak men make for weak fathers, who make for weak families and weak children. Weak families make for a weak nation. If a man can't be trusted to lead his family in a way that reinforces moral straightness, he can't be trusted to lead anyone. For Biden, hiding financial information is clearly far more important than discarded Navy Jones. You know, people would often dismiss Bill Clinton's infidelity by saying, it wasn't such a big deal. Oh, they all do that, I'd hear. Or, well, they don't really have a real marriage anyway. It spoke volumes about the character of both Bill and Hillary Clinton that he persisted in acting immorally toward his wife, and she lacked the conviction to stand up to public abuse and humiliation, all to advance their political careers. But Joe Biden's sin here is far worse than the Clintons' special arrangement to con the public. You know, a strong father is a leader. He tells his children hard truths. He tells his son to accept responsibility and be present for his children, even if they are the product of a drug-fueled one-night stand. A strong father doesn't conspire with his son to save his own skin at the expense of an innocent child. A real man also wouldn't risk sacrificing his soul for the sake of earthly status. Scripture tells us that you cannot serve both God and mammon. It is a truth that placing power and position in this life ahead of that which is yet to come in the next will often find you in the company of evil. He may wear a rosary, but like his support for taxpayer-funded late-term abortion and mutilation of children, Joe Biden's public denial of this little girl is an affront to God and the Blessed Mother. Living the lie that you're a faithful follower of Christ while having no courage or scruples can become so familiar, the deception becomes as comfortable as a glove. The arrogance of power, prominence, and prosperity combine to create a monster willing to devour anyone for the sake of their aims. After decades of political opportunism and alleged self-dealing, one's true nature is apparently hard to rebuke. If this were Donald Trump's granddaughter, it would be wall-to-wall outrage. But with Biden, though, there's a sense of general complacency about his moral weakness. Par for the course, I guess, for an American left and media that routinely ignore the collapse of the black family and the crisis of responsible fathers in this country. Poor little Navy Jones is in the way of Biden Incorporated, and Grandpa Joe seems to have no problem steamrolling over her to ignore the warped reality that he has created for himself. It tells you everything that you need to know about the character of the man and the core of who he really is. At a time when we seem to be experiencing a moral rot in this country where nothing seems to shock us anymore, the little girl the president shuns should be a reminder that the fish rots from the head.